Offerings to ghosts go in pits, offerings to gods go in fire. Soothing water, milk, and red wine sink, moistening trenches. Dark meat, dark wheat, eat in the flames, then are consumed. Liquid sips down and calls up the dead. Smoke wafts upward and beckons gods down. Once cries with a bowl of rainwater to speak to gods. Once cries with spring water to talk to the underworld. This can get amplified to horrible proportions in the desert. Nothing is settled, and fortune wanders uncertain, twisting and turning events, and chance rules mortals. Lucan, Book 2, 13. He drained what little blood remained, then hacked off the rotting limbs. His remedy was too much, his reach too great. True, the guilty were punished, but the guilty the only ones left. Wrath riots freed the reins of law. The conqueror issued but one order: anything goes. Lucan, Book 2, 138. The river received heaps of corpses. At first they fell into the water, but then onto other corpses. Ships stuck fast. The bloody massacre dammed the course. Behind it, waters gathered high, in a mass. Soon, the mounting pressure of blood forced a passage. At last it struggled hard into the sea, parting the deep blue waves with a torrent of red. Lucan, Book 2, 223. As only a god can, the patricide released two ravens at the same time, on opposite ends of the world. Flew they did, until they met over a dark cave, filled side to side and ceiling to floor with snake, one huge fell beast, a fork-tongued land leviathan that could tell you the future, but instead lived for unclear rhyme. In his fell jaws flames searing, a burning breath that reddens the air with fever, plagues and death. From his nature flows the afflictions that rule those below. The Nukit Poloi talk of the sluggish court of the silent sad folk who innocently hated and now endlessly wade in a sorry marsh of revolting water, longing for obscure paths across barren fields packed so hard that the dry winds forever look for scant dust to swirl. It gives life to the dead and calls those things that do not exist as though they did. Romans 4:17. Let them come to me, the children of sorcerers, the children of adulterers, the children of sluts. Isaiah 57:3. Take two birds, drain one into a shallow dish, wrap living bird in red yarn, dip loose end in blood, wait for the blood to climb to the bird, winding and unwinding, bird, if needed, is permitted. Then dunk live bird in the blood. Release bloodied bird to fly far away. Leviticus 48:59. Eat your bread cooked over burning human crap. Ezekiel 4:12. The Seirim, the Seim, the Hoim, the Benot Yahana, the Him, the Tanin, Reshef, Alukwa, Keteb, the terror of the night, the pestilence that stalks, the destructive waste of noon. Whore yourself for ghost demons in a house of howling creatures and unclean fowl. Dangle a plumb over emptiness, and the evil is not confused, directing your attention to this or that. Owls fly in darkness and are hated by black birds for it. Mekashev uses knife to cut up herbs, cover the cord that binds. Melnan the whisper, Shelob the water bearer. Naked they reaped with bronze sickles, the roots taken, placed between their breasts, then covered with blouses fair, donning crowns of oak leaves and snakes. They find a crossroad, where they melt the doll, made a month ago, under another new moon. For 29 days a man bathed in a river before dawn, and for those days ate but nuts, and drank honey milk, all these to prepare to get a sneak glimpse of his future home. And on that trip he was told by one there to forego occult studies, and instead learn to laugh. This upset the man, for he could not tell a joke from a hole in the ground.